Anything can happen in this crazy sport of MMA. Just as I was wrapping up for the day, getting ready to go to sleep, we hear the news that Jon Jones is out of the main event of UFC 295 for the World Heavyweight title against Stipe Miocic. He is out as well. Instead, for the heavyweight belt, we're getting Sergey Pavlovich versus Tom Aspinall. And the original co-main event of Alex Pereira, Yuri Prochazka is now the new main event. Absolutely crazy. Just a reminder, we just got done with UFC 294. We thought it couldn't get more crazy, and just keeps going, right? It seems like this crazy sport of MMA just does not stop giving us surprises. So without further ado, Jon Jones is out. Stipe follows suit. Jon Jones suffered a pectoral injury, and it's going to see him out for 8 months with surgery. He is getting surgery. He'll be out 8 months. So if we just do some simple math, we're already heading into November. Jon Jones will probably be out until maybe July, August, something like that. June, July, August. Sometime in the summer he'll be returning. Stipe doesn't take the backup fight, which is Sergey Pavlovich. Pavlovich was training for the backup for this. I don't blame Stipe at all. He's in his 40s, and this probably was his retirement fight, his last big hurrah. And he doesn't want it to be against an absolute behemoth in Sergey Pavlovich on short notice, because Jon Jones is a completely different fighter than Sergey. The only thing they really have in common is their reach. Everything else, the way they fight, all of that is completely different. And I'm glad Stipe didn't take the fight, because Sergey, I think, would absolutely pummel him. And Stipe does deserve to have that one big payday with Jon Jones as his last fight, in his retirement fight. Sergey Pavlovich and Tom Aspinall are stepping in on short notice for the co-main event. Now, Sergey was the backup fighter anyways, and I'm just thinking about Gamrot, who was the backup for Islam Makhachev. Charles Oliveira got ignored anyways and ended up being the backup for the backup fight that was Makhachev-Volkanovski too. But this time around, they went with Sergey Pavlovich, who was the backup. I'm so glad they did. I love Pavlovich, one of my favorite fighters. And his opponent is going to be Tom Aspinall. So this is a dream fight. A lot of fans really wanted to see this in the heavyweight. A new era of heavyweights is here. No longer just a bunch of fat heavyweights who just aren't good, right? These are two high-level MMA fighters. They're going to be the co-main event. Pereira versus Yuri is the main event, and this is interesting. Is this the first time that a UFC event has had a lower title, a lower weight class main event over the higher weight class? Usually, if you have, let's say, bantamweight and flyweight on a card, the bantamweight will be the main event, the flyweight the co-main event. When Volkanovski fought Yair Rodriguez, that was the main event for the featherweight title, and the co-main event was Brandon Moreno and Pantoja. And this time it's going to be different, right? In the main event, you have the light heavyweight. In the co-main event, you have the heavyweight. And you can't really blame them. Alex Pereira, Yuri Prochazka is a fight that could sell out an arena anyways. Sergey, Tom Aspinall is a big fight, but the two men aren't as big in general. Now, if this was in the UK, they could because of Tom Aspinall. But in America, they just can't. And I could see why they went with Pereira versus Yuri. That was the fight I'm most excited for. And I'm still, out of this entire year, that is the fight that I've been most excited for. I can't wait for it to happen. And we need to talk about the fact that Jon Jones will not be ready for UFC 300. So a lot of people are talking, oh, when are we going to get that Jon Jones-Stipe fight? It's most likely going to be UFC 301, 302, 303. Not even 301. If he's out for 8 months, expect him to probably come back UFC 303 or something like that. I'm just going off the top of my head. He's going to be gone for 8 months, a pretty big injury, and Stipe is probably going to wait for him. I don't see Stipe fighting the winner of Sergey and Tom. He might, honestly, but again, he's really at his retirement fight, and it's going to be interesting to see what the UFC does, right? Sergey and Tom, the winner of that's going to be champion. Jon Jones is going to have his championship, right? He's still it's just an interim belt for Sergey and Tom. Stipe is going to be sitting over there, so they're going to have 4 guys, or rather 3 once the loser of Pavlovich Aspinall is out of the picture. It's going to be kind of weird, right? This is UFC. There's no triple threat over here. I wonder how they're going to go about it. Maybe I should make a separate video on that. But yeah, Jones is out, not going to be ready for UFC 300. And I think Stipe is going to wait it out too. I think he's going to wait to wait for Jones to come back. And it's really messy, right? Jones versus Stipe sometime in August. What's Sergey going to be doing, or Tom Aspinall, whoever has the interim belt? Are they going to fight first and the winner fights Stipe? Stipe is going to be gone for almost 5 years at that point. So really crazy news. I would rather have Stipe probably fight the winner of Sergey Tom Aspinall. As much as I want him to have that one last hurrah against Jon Jones, the longer he waits, the more I think it's going to go against him. And Jon Jones, this is a huge injury. We don't know how he's going to look coming out of this. It's going to be kind of a weird situation. I think he should just... and for Sergey and Tom, waiting eight months is going to be a long time, right? Even if you're interim champion, they're probably going to make him undisputed champion, probably, and have Jones fight the winner if he decides to come back, which leaves Stipe in this weird spot. But that's all for maybe another day. I'd really have to think about that. This kind of came out of the left field. I wasn't expecting this, and I'm just kind of making this on the fly. Now, I am going with Pavlovich against Aspinall. He was the backup for this fight, and he was preparing, so he's been having the camp, right? He's the one in the camp right now, the one preparing, the one training. Aspinall somewhere in the UK. He's going to have to start training just now. Now, it's better than a 1 week notice or 1.5 week notice like Volkanovski and Usman got. But it's still just 3 weeks, right? And because of that, we saw Usman lost to Chimaev, Volkanovski lost to Islam. Usually guys coming on short notice typically don't win. Now, Tom Aspinall is insanely talented, but Pavlovich is probably the hardest hitter in heavyweight, which is saying something, because if you're a heavyweight fighter, you can probably hit pretty hard. And now that I think about it, I am really, really happy that Ciryl Gane was not chosen for this fight. I'm really glad the UFC went with Tom Aspinall rather. Ciryl Gane is like what, 1-2 and 1-2 in his last 3, or 2-2 in his last 4, or something like that. Lost to Jones, lost to Nagano. Already is 0-2 in title shots. Doesn't deserve another one off of one win. Tom Aspinall deserves it a lot more. And I'm glad they went with this fight. Ciryl Gane does not deserve unlimited title shots. He's not Conor McGregor. He's not some big pay-per-view star who just gets these treatments. So I'm just glad that the UFC went with the right fight this time around. And again, I am going with Pavlovich. I'm going to have to do a real, more in-depth breakdown as we get closer to the fight. I have to really watch these two's tape. But Pavlovich is just, his boxing is so good now. Aspinall does have the grappling. He does have the takedown ability. And the one time we seen Pavlovich lose, it was when he got taken down. I believe it was I'm forgetting his name right now. But I can't believe I forgot his name. He just fought in Glory, and one of the greatest heavyweights of all time. We all know him. He beat Pavlovich when he took him down, and yeah, just mold him, right? And so Pavlovich's one weakness has been his takedown game, and Tom Aspinall, he could potentially take advantage of that and beat Pavlovich as well. But I am still going with Pavlovich. I just think it's going to be a one-round knockout, as we expect from Pavlovich. But it's going to be an insane fight. And, of course, I'm very excited for the main event, Pereira versus Giri, light heavyweight. Can't wait. Which fight are you guys most excited for? What do you guys think of all of this? Are you more excited, less excited? What do you think needs to go next with Stipe? Does he fight the winner of Pavlovich and Aspinall? Does he wait for Jones? How do you see it happening? Yeah, and I still can't remember his name. I feel so shameful. I'll probably have to write it in the comments below after this. I'm probably going to remember his name right after this is done. So, yeah, thanks for watching, and let me know in the comments what you guys think. Peace out. See you in the next one.